Happy Friday and happy Fridays with Fidelman. I'm Cheryl Fidelman, the Conscious Codependence Coach and the founder of the Conscious Codependence Collective. Today's topic on Fridays with Fidelman is Codependence numbs our soul. And I'm going to be talking about how suggesting that perhaps when we feel numb, it's not a literal feeling of numbness. It's that our soul is numb. We're not connected to our truth. We're not connected to our passion. We're not plugged into our vibrancy. We're not plugged into our intuition and our inner compass. And so it may occur as if we're numb, but what I'm proposing is that we're not numb. It's just that our soul is in the passenger seat and not in the driver's seat. What's in the driver's seat is our codependence. So our codependence takes the wheel from our soul and we feel numb. So I'm going to just go into those thoughts and ideas, make a few announcements for this week. Please keep the comments coming, subscribe, and all right, here we go. Numbness may or may not be a place that you go to or a phenomenon that you experience. For some of us, it's the opposite of numbness. It's such an extraordinary amount of feeling and sensation that we can't bear it, or we don't have the threshold to hold an experience and allow all those feelings and sensations to run through us. So it can occur as anxiety, shutdown, overwhelming, anger, or such massive repression because we're shutting ourselves and other people away from this overwhelm, from this over flooding of inner experience. So whether you experience numbness or you experience a flood and then a reaction from that flood where you go to shutdown or numbness, the point here is that trauma will tell us to disassociate from ourselves. When we're disassociated from ourselves, this is from the point of view of my work, for those of us who identify as codependents or have some obvious codependent behaviors that we want to work on. Codependence is the behavior we default to when we disassociate from ourselves. So another way of saying what the numb experience could be like is more like, instead of saying I'm numb, it's more like I'm not with myself. I'm not connected with myself. I'm not aligned with myself. And so we look, for us codependents, when we're not connected with ourselves, we immediately go to look to connect with somebody else. I'm not connected with myself, so let me hook into your reality and handle your reality and try to manage your brain because I can't manage my brain right now. So let me try to manage your brain and manage your responsibility and go into a teaching moment or go into a pleasing moment. So we often go to managing somebody else's world when our inner world is unmanageable for ourselves. Because if you're taken care of and you're happy, then okay, fine. That's at least one step towards me being happy. If you feel safe, that's at least one step towards me feeling safe. Because me feeling safe in and of myself, regardless of how you feel, is foreign to those of us who are codependents. And some of us, it even goes as extreme as, like, I'll use the airplane analogy, where like I can't feel anything, but if I put the oxygen mask on you first and I notice that you start to feel and you come to life, then okay, great, now I can put the oxygen mask on me. So we're making sure you're happy and safe first, and then our happiness and safety comes alive from your happiness and safety coming alive. And so it's hard for us to be the primary alive person. In other words, it's hard for us to say, I'm safe regardless of whether or not you feel safe. I'm happy and valuable regardless of whether or not you feel happy and regardless of whether or not you think I'm valuable. It's innately within me to live in permission to exist, as opposed to your existence comes first in every category. So this is what I'm equating to numbness. I'm numb until and unless you feel something for yourself and or about me. Now, certainly there are parents or guardians out there or caregivers who it would make logical sense to take care of somebody else in a moment before taking care of yourself. So, this is really up to you to discern the moments where you feel like you really are just not living inside of your own permission, and permission to take up space, to make your own decisions, as opposed to depending on everybody else around you as to how you're going to move through life. So that would be up to, I say that for all of us, it's up to you to discern which ones of your codependent behaviors are, kind of in the red zone, and which ones do you feel like work for you. Because I think that there is some healthy codependence, and there is some healthy dependence and healthy interdependence. But it's up to those of us to figure out, okay, which parts of the ways I interact with people are really in the red zone and becoming a dysfunction for me. I want to bring up the idea of my TSE practice, which is the foundational practice of all of my work for those of my clients who are in the private program and in the group program. The TSE practice is this is the fundamental practice that runs through all of the work. The reason why I'm bringing it up here in this video is TSE stands for, so it's my conscious codependence TSE practice. TSE stands for thought, sensation, emotion. I've talked about it in several other videos. The part of it that I want to talk about here is sensation. Because when we say we're numb, I want to say to that, it's impossible to be numb. It's possible that you're numb to your feelings and emotions, like you can't notice a feeling and emotion. But one great, really important way to get back to yourself is to notice your sensations. If you're numb of all of your sensations, I would say perhaps it's a medical issue. But if you can notice what you're hearing, notice what you're seeing, for those of us who have hearing and sight, what you're touching, what you're tasting, what you're smelling. If you can notice at least any one of your five senses, that will help you have access to coming back into your body and into the visceral experience of being associated, connected, and aligned back with yourself. So whether you are experiencing yourself as emotionally numb or emotionally flooded, revert to your sensations. And it certainly takes practice, and with practice it becomes easier and easier to notice, simply notice a sensation. Even if it's simply noticing what the air moving in and out of your nostrils and what that feels like. So that would be the sensation of touch. The more we practice this, the easier it gets. And so I just want to keep highlighting how much time and practice some of these things take to really start to see an experience of change, and to have these healing practices, which there's so many healing practices out there and so many amazing healers with their take on the foundational practice of their work. But when we take on a practice that really resonates with us, if we stick with it and keep trying and keep efforting, for a lot of us, we were traumatized. I'll just use myself as an example. So I experienced childhood trauma for the first 16 years of my life. And for a lot of us, we think, all right, did a year program, hopefully it's gone. If you were traumatized for 16 years, it may take 16 years of undoing that trauma. If you were traumatized for a year, maybe it would just take a year. I don't know. But trauma didn't have patience with us. For a lot of us, it just took us and we didn't have a choice. Now it's our time to take ourselves back and have patience with the process of how long it may take to get back to ourselves. Have patience with the process of trying on these practices and trying them over and over and over again, because they're practices. They're there for us to practice over time. So practice, whether you're flooded with emotion or numb with emotion, just practice noticing one or more of your sensations. And I like to say in my work that our sensations are actually the only real thing that are happening in any present moment. Oftentimes our thoughts are not a real test of what's happening. Our emotions are not a real test of what's happening. Although the more that we heal, the more we can trust our feelings and our emotions. But our sensations are always true. Right now I'm rolling out the 5th free Conscious Codependence series called Soul versus Trauma. You can see it in the description below. It's free to sign up. soulvstrauma.com, and you'll get 16 interviews with 16 different experts, all talking about what it's like, what it feels like to live from the point of view of our soul versus the point of view of our trauma. I really wanted to put this idea out there. I want to keep putting out there that our codependence recovery is an access back to living life from the point of view of our soul. And when we keep healing, when we don't stop, even though for some of us it's a long, arduous, annoying journey, some it's easier than others, but to just keep going. And why are we doing all of this healing work? Because it's completely known/unknown/beyond our wildest dreams who you are when you're living from the point of view of your soul. And so I've talked to many experts about the surprises that they found out about themselves when they peeled away and healed enough of their trauma, where they actually came back and met themselves. And it took me 30 years. It took me 30 years of, I'd say 25 years of therapy, formal training, group programs, coaching, plant medicines, retreats. I just kept going until I had this experience of, oh my gosh, I'm back to myself. Here I am. I left myself 25 years ago. I haven't actually felt safe in my body or with another person in 25 years. Oh my gosh, here I am. I'm back to myself. And certainly there's more awakening, and I'm not stopping, and there's more inner alignment to happen, and there's more of Cheryl for me to get to know. But a page definitely turned about 25 years into my healing, where I was like, oh my gosh, Cheryl, good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. And so this series is all about keep going, because it's you that's at the finish line. And you're worth it to put that oxygen mask on yourself and awaken yourself, so that you can actually awaken other people and connect with other people in not a codependent way, in the way that the uniqueness of your soul gets to communicate and be with people. So go ahead and sign up for free Soul vs. Trauma. The link is down below. And so that series is free. Next week, we're going to have our free and monthly Conscious Codependence class. So that happens next week. You'll get an email about that. Oh, and you'll also see that when you sign up for the free Soul vs. Trauma series, you'll have an option for the VIP, which is 5 days of live Conscious Codependence classes alongside the pre-recorded videos of the series. You can come join us for 5 days of Conscious Codependence classes. So you got the Soul vs. Trauma series, you got your free monthly Conscious Codependence class, and then a week after that, we're doing 5 days straight of Conscious Codependence classes. That's the VIP section of the series. Series is free, and I think the VIP part is like $97. All right, come join us for all this amazing healing material and healing opportunities. Thanks for listening to my thoughts, theories, and rants. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy healing, and life is now.